We appreciate you staying with us. We're putting the conversation on the road now. I'm joined by Sunday Arambi. He's a veteran journalist and a public affairs commentator. Thank you so very much for coming on the program.
Thank you so much.
Great. So I understand as a Nigerian, you have also been following very interestingly the developments across, around the economy and the policies and the politics. More so, you are a veteran journalist. Let's talk about, first, the one that directly affects everyday Nigerian, which is the issue of the fuel subsidy removal, the issues around palliatives, the issue around all of the proposals that the federal government has made to workers and even some 15 million households who are said to be economically disadvantaged. And then now we're hearing allegations of how that there's still subsidy payment going on in the background. Because the other day, some of the key stakeholders in the oil and gas sector said the only way you can buy fuel at, say, 600 naira on the average is that there's a clear indication there's still fuel subsidy payments. That otherwise, fuel will be selling for between 750 and 900 as of today. Just help us make sense of that.
Well, this fuel subsidy removal issue has been the front burner since May 29th this year, when the president made a pronouncement that he had removed the subsidy being paid to those people that are importing fuel into the country. First, I would say he made a mistake. I've said it here before, and he is regretting it. From people who are very close to him, they are saying the president is regretting having done that or having said that, because it was supposed to be a gradual withdrawal.
Right.
He never knew it was coming out to be the way it is now, where most Nigerians cannot even afford to buy fuel. And those who use fuel to power their businesses, they also cannot, because once you power your business, you use fuel, and the output, nobody will be able to afford it. Nobody. Now, transportation, Nigeria depends so much on road transportation. It's not like the other Western countries where you have trains, shuttle trains, and all those electric vehicles. And
metro lines.
Metro lines. In Nigeria, we depend solely on petrol and diesel for transportation. A trip that usually take, say for instance, from here to Lagos by luxury bus or whichever way, any type of bus you will use, tripled. The price tripled, as if you are taking a flight. I remember in those days when we were students from Lagos to Calabar, I used to take flight by just 5 naira. But that 5 naira now, or 15 naira, is only within the city. It's only within the city now. You can't go anywhere. The president too, aside from having admitted, though not publicly, that he was too fast in making that withdrawal, can also not reverse it now.
Why?
Because it will be a somersault of policy. It will be a complete somersault, and nobody will take him for anything again if he does that.
So if he reverses it, Nigerians will not take him seriously? Is that the point?
At all. Because his policies are not consistent with what he is supposed to do. So we now have to live with it. And on the issue of continuous subsidy, after he had said that he had removed subsidy, and some marketers are saying that if subsidy is completely removed, we are going to buy between 700 and 900 naira. I don't know who is deceiving who now. I don't know. So let them come out now and tell Nigerians, these are the people still collecting subsidy from government, and that's why we made this price like this. So if they stop giving these people the subsidy or allowing them over this subsidy issue, that fuel is coming like this, they should tell us. We are one Nigeria, we are stakeholders in this project, for goodness sake. We are stakeholders here. So we must know, we're supposed to know, and we have that right to know that this is where our money is still going to.
I want to ask you something about, beyond whether or not there's still payment of subsidy going on. Let's talk about efforts being made now to cushion the impact, of course, the adverse impact of removal of subsidy payments. We saw governors being promised 5 billion, I should say, the other day. Some even came out, some governors even came out to say, so far we've been giving 2 billion. Some said we've been giving 4 billion. We're expecting the balance and so on and so forth. All the states, including the FCT here. Nigerians expressed concerns, whether on social media or even conventional media, to say, look, these governors, for the most part, will line their pockets with these monies because you are not able to hold them accountable, and we don't have a history of being able to track spending as it has to do with public finance and so on and so forth. Do you share those sentiments?
I don't one bit. Let me tell you, when they talk about this palliative of something, now I have some colleagues. We discussed this issue, and one of them said, that was just last week, he said he went out because if you cannot get people in the FCT, in the city center here, at least you go to places like Nyanya, Maraba, and the rest of them to be able to track these people if they have been enlisted by anybody that is qualified for palliative. They couldn't get one. They couldn't get one. So those people that government said they are going to give palliative, how did they get them? Which means did they use in selecting them? Because they will tell you now that they have done that. Tomorrow they are going into phase 2. When you have not, you as a journalist, I am here too. I have not even seen phase 1. And you are telling me you are moving to phase 2. How did you get to phase 1 and you are now moving to phase 2? I have not seen one person that had come out to say in this FCT that we have gate men. We have gate men, you have all these Mebolas and the rest of them there who are absolutely qualified for this palliative to be given to them. Whatever amount you give to them, it will go a long way in trying to solve at least their immediate needs. I have not seen one. Not even one. So what is government telling us? They want to shade us with smoke while our eyes are still open? It's not possible.
So was it a wrong move to have used that method of saying let's narrow it down through the states so that it can get down to the grassroots? Was that a mistake in itself?
It was not a mistake. In fact, they thought it well that if we go through the states, it will go down well, as you said.
Right.
But now, you and I know the politics we play in Nigeria. The winner takes all politics. If you give me as a governor of my state, of course, I would think first about people, if I'm giving at all, I would think about my political party members.
The ones that worked for you at the last election?
That is it. So the others, you don't even bother about them. You don't bother about them. First, you are members, you are party members. So you satisfy them ahead of your next election. That is it. That's how we play our politics in Nigeria, which is not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be this way at all. But that is what we have come to see. But
let's have a bit of an overview of some of the policies. Of course, economic experts will say some of the things we're seeing coming out of the President Tinubu government are actually not policies; that they are just pronouncements. Like you were alleging to the, you were actually making reference to the issue of removal of fuel subsidy. Yeah. That while there is nothing wrong with removing subsidy altogether, in itself, but the method was bad because it should have been a phase-by-phase kind of approach to it. Yeah. But let's look at all of the policies we've seen now, because just 2 days ago, the IMF is now doing a downward review of our growth forecasts. I think we're looking at 3.2, 3.3 earlier, but IMF is now saying our growth as a country will be 2.9. The irony of it all is the IMF is saying, look, there have been very strong reforms, results-driven reforms by these governments, yet you are reviewing our growth forecast to 2.9%, down to 2.9%. What does that say about where we are as a country?
First, anything concerning IMF, I don't even want to delve into it because IMF put us into what we are now.
By giving us money? Is that how they put us on?
Which money has IMF given to us? Rather, they say we should devalue our naira. And before, in Nigeria, the naira used to be stronger than the dollar.
Right.
The naira was only able to meet up with the pounds. That time there was no euro. Euro is just a recent creation.
Okay, there was Dutch mark or something.
Dutch mark was nothing near our currency.
Apparently.
Then. Nothing near our currency then. So when we started devaluing this naira, that's when we started getting into the problems we are as a country. And look at what is happening in Ghana now. Ghana, Ghana cedi is stronger than the naira now. Very, very well. Ghana is stronger than the naira now. In the whole West Africa region, Ghana has the strongest currency now because they have removed the 2 digits behind their currency. And they made it so strong. Some people in that country are leaving that country now, or some people are even going there now to invest. Recently we hear there is one pharmaceutical company, I don't want to mention their name, they have relocated from Nigeria to Ghana because we have a weak currency here. And there is no power. And if they have to buy diesel to power their plant at the rate they have to buy now, which means at the end of it, nobody will buy their product because it will be too high. So they have to relocate to Ghana. We have lost so many. Where is Dunlop today? Dunlop used to domicile in, how do they call it, Ojota,
right,
in Lagos then. Where is Michelin? Where is Bata? Shoemakers. This Bata, Linards, they are all in Ghana now. So they produce there and give it to us now. Because of our economic policies here and the environment, the productive environment, we have just battered the whole system by answering to the call of IMF, asking us to devalue, and they are even still asking us to devalue further. Who is this president? Idi Amin of Uganda. There was a time he told his central bank governor, he said, you call this money shit currency? Because their currency at the point was rubbish. When you compare to, like Zimbabwe, if you carry 1 naira to Zimbabwe and they change it to their own shillings, you carry a bag load of money and it's just 1 naira by your own currency. So why are we punishing ourselves like this? Our heads of government should be able to study that. We have good people here, economic experts in this country that can sit down and formulate a policy and tell Nigeria how this naira has to be strengthened, and it will go a long way in helping our country.
I don't know if you watched when the current CBN governor, Olayemi Kadoso, was being screened. Yes, no, he's been confirmed now.
Okay.
He has been confirmed, okay. Yes. When he was being, that was about a fortnight ago, when he was being screened alongside the deputy governors who had been nominated by the president. And senators took turns to asking questions and also to, just bear their minds on some of the concerns that they have on behalf of their constituencies. And one of the things the senator representing Edo North Senatorial District, former governor of Edo State, Adams Oshiomhole, one of the issues he raised was that the CBN, as an institution, a very pivotal one, must find a way to disintegrate from multilateral Bretton Woods institutions like the IMF, like the World Bank, and so on and so forth. But it will appear over time we've become so indebted to them, we've become so accustomed to their ways that it's near impossible to actually disintegrate. What are your thoughts?
In as much as I agree with Senator Adams Oshiomhole, that's in the question he moved to the CBN governor.
That's right.
I will also say, if it is because of debts that we are being tied down, they should just think out of the woods. Yes, we are owing. Almost, or even US, they also owe. One day, you will come out of it. Let us extricate ourselves from the fangs of this Western world, be our own, and be paying their debts. We can be paying. Not one government can complete the payment of all the debts. It's a continuum. We will pay, but we will not accept to your policies that are inimical to our own people.
That's right.
We will formulate our own policies and do the things the way we know, Nigerianize ourselves. Let us go our own way.
Do we look ready for that?
In fact, any government that will come out and implement all these things, the way I have said now, in fact, that government will get a salute.
But do you see that in this government led by President Bola Tinubu? Or is it too early? Is it too early to?
Well, it's just barely how many months now?
I want to talk to you about something else. There have been calls. I'm sure you are very much aware. I mean, given your line of work, to the effect that we should let go of oil and diversify. In fact, they are saying we should be looking at things like agriculture. We should look at things like tech, even health, for example. How that we can systemize these critical sectors and stop our reliance, or what people call over-reliance on oil. Does Nigeria look like it's ready to make the most of oil so we can make that diversification happen? Because what has happened with many countries like the UAE, for example, even Qatar, is that they've been able to do so much in other sectors using monies from oil, from crude. Nigeria has not been able to make the most of that. Just a few days ago, again, we're talking about how oil is stolen in this country every other day. The other day was even the NSA saying 400,000 barrels per day of oil. Now, if you do the maths, given the price of oil at the international market now, which has even been further exacerbated by the war in Ukraine, and of course now the one you're having between Israel and Palestine, and so on and so forth. What can we do to, if you like, minimize our reliance very significantly on oil and begin to emphasize the need to diversify in practical ways, not just the way we are seeing it now with Uncle Bora's program, and so on and so forth?
Let me start with with agriculture. The former president, Buhari, meant well in terms of agriculture now, where he said he wants the entire country to start thinking out of the woods, thinking out of oil, not relying on oil any longer, and said that people should go into agriculture, and they started to revolutionize agricultural sector. But some people thwarted that move. What do I say by that? If Nigeria, the way Buhari meant it, when those farmers went into the agricultural department the way the man meant it at that time, by now, we cannot be talking. The other day I saw how many truckload of rice being impounded by custom being smuggled into the country. Nobody would have been talking about rice, smuggling rice, when you have abundant rice in the country. It's not Uncle Ben I want to eat, that my own rice is even tastier than that one, than foreign rice. So what will even make me go to foreign rice? So the thing is that our people are just the ones killing us. We are the ones killing ourselves. Last year, or just shortly before Buhari left office, my brother, there was a show at Airport Road where they went and mounted some woods and put bags of rice on top. And they say rice pyramid. I'm sure you're aware of it. When they mounted that this thing, they never invited journalists to come and see how they would start laying the bags until it got to that level. The day they dismantled it, they dismantled at midnight. And some of our colleagues saw it, that they mounted woods in form of a pyramid and now placed rice. Who are they deceiving? We are not supposed to depend on oil for our daily living, just as we are now. If we have, like, if you go to Cross River State, plantain is wasting there. Plantains, they are wasting there. You see yams, but when you bring them here, they are very costly because of the way you came with them, the transport. They are costly. And plantain, you know, is perishable.
Right.
If it were not perishable, you keep plantain as much as you like in there, but when you keep it there, it will ripe and get spoiled. What would have made you start thinking of oil? And why we are thinking of even this oil is because of the urban, rural to urban migration. If you have a workplace in your village that can sustain your daily living, You only come to Abuja or you go to Lagos only on vacation. After vacation, you go back to your place. There is a man I met sometime in US, Mr. Kent. He stays in his county. As at that time, he was 50-something. He has never been to New York.
In the same country?
In the same country. He has never been to Washington. So I asked him one day, I said, look, what do you want? Can somebody get in New York if you go to New York? I haven't been to New York, we went to Washington. He said, as he tells me now, he has never been to New York. He has never left his county for one day. He has all he wanted there. So what would you go and do in New York or Washington? So I just looked at this man and said, what? Whereas in Nigeria, everybody, you must be in Lagos or in Abuja or Port Harcourt or Kano. For what now? If you have job there in your locality, for goodness sake, you don't need all these places.
I want us to talk about something else because I see how passionate you are about issues that concern the growth of Nigeria and then, of course, the well-being of the everyday Nigerian. But let's talk about some of the appointments that President Tinubu has made recently. We've seen that of, say, the NCC, Nigerian Communications Commission. We've seen that of NIPOST. Just yesterday, the most recent that came through was the appointment, if you like, replacements appointment for Rashid Bawa, who is now being detained by the DSS. And now we have Mr. Olokede there. We've seen a lapse between when Rashid Bawa was taken into custody and when this appointment was announced. Give me your thoughts, your very dispassionate thoughts about the fight against corruption in Nigeria, because the EFCC apparently is the poster boy, so to speak, of the fight against corruption.
That fight against corruption by either EFCC or ICPC is targeted. If you are not with the president or the powers that be, they pursue you. But once you are with them, they fold your hands. And when you come to the manner of appointment so far by this administration, I think Tinubu is just pursuing the way Buhari did.
Which is?
Sectional. The key heads of this organization you just mentioned, look at it very well. They were all from the north. So Buhari has come now to replace them with his own people.
That's President Tinubu.
Tinubu. I mean, if you replace, just like even in his own party, the APC, when you remove somebody as chairman, for goodness sake, there is a flow down how you replace that person and from where the person should come from if you want to balance the equation. After the former chairman, we know who was supposed to be the chairman, but because that person was not in the records, in the good records of this present administration, even as a party man, they never gave him.
That's for the APC.
That's for the APC. And Nigeria, now look at just yesterday, they removed Bawa, or Bawa resigned, according to them. Bawa resigned even while in detention, and he now brought in another person. Bawa's position is tenured. Just like the secretary of the commission is tenured too. Bawa has not even completed his first tenure.
So the president cannot, at his own discretion, have him relieved of his job?
At all.
So the president has committed a constitutional infraction. That's what you're saying.
That is it. Even the CBN appointment. Emefiele had not finished his tenure. He had not. So, and that place, that's why they call him governor of Central Bank. He has everything like the governor, a state governor. You cannot just remove him. You cannot. But now here we are. You say this person has resigned from detention. Show us his resignation letter. Show it. Flash it to the media. Let us see it. So that you see how the question they will ask. Goodness sake, for goodness sake, let us do things the way. See, I don't care whoever is my president. I don't care. And follow the federal character principles in your appointment. Follow that way so that the whole Nigeria, because one, the whole Nigeria is your constituent. It's your constituency. The entire Nigeria. You don't say because I'm from this zone, let me bring my people here, and the other zones are left. No. Buhari tried it. Buhari tried it. Almost every appointment from the north. Every appointment from the north. So you too should not come and do that again.
But in the case of President Tinubu, the argument I've heard off and on record is that we should take our eyes away from tribalism, ethnicity, and look at whether or not these gentlemen, these women that he has appointed have some merits, have credibility, have competence to do the job.
There's nobody in the north that has merit. Nobody.
We have also seen appointments, key appointments from the north.
Yes, but weigh them now and see where the balance will go. Just weigh them and see where the balance will go. See, Nigeria, let us apply some sense of justice, some sense of federal character, and let us also do things the way it should be done, so that if tomorrow I leave this office, somebody sees me on the street, they will say yes. Even if you don't say it directly to me, say, that man, he was our former president. He did this, he did this, he did that. Talk about me positively, not negatively. Like what we are saying about Buhari now. You hardly hear anybody, unless those who benefited from him, that we say, okay, fine, that man was a better man when compared to so person. It should not be like that. See our man here, Wike. He has come to Abuja, and I like what Tinubu did. He looked at him. He said, okay, this man can restore the FCT, and he gave him the appointment, irrespective of political affiliation.
Right.
He gave him the, Tinubu to Wike too seems to say to the president, I will not disappoint you. He's trying to restore certain things that went wrong. So sometimes I ask myself, the other ministers that have been in FCT, does it mean that they were not saying those things? So now, my brother, Nigeria.
As we wrap it up now, there's something else I would like us to quickly look at. Even though we won't be caught being subjudicial, which is the issue around credentials of the president and so on and so forth. We understand that case is in front of the Supreme Court already. But what lessons can we be learning going forward? Because that has always been the problem. You hold elections in 2003, there are issues, you don't address them. So you carry all of those errors into your 2007 election, 2011, 2015, and all the way down to 2023. All else equal, Nigeria will have another round of general elections in 2027 and 2031 and so on and so forth. What lessons have we learned now, especially as they have to do with pre-election matters that we can apply to future elections?
You see, what I will say about this, just as you say, this matter is already in court. What I will always say is that unless we start having all these matters dispensed with before swearing in, these issues will still remain there. After election, there should be a time for all the matters in court or tribunal, whatever you call it, to be dispensed with before swearing in. So that if after being sworn in, you are now given that time to talk about matters of state. No more distraction from one court to the other. Unless that is done in Nigeria, then we should forget that, because those things will still linger. Because now, let me tell you, whether you forge certificate or not, whether you do, an aggrieved person will still go to court.
Even if everything checks out?
An aggrieved person will still, because one, they will tell you that in Nigeria today, going to court is plus minus.
So let's try our luck.
Let's try our luck. It's garbage in, garbage out. So let us just look at the way we can fashion our constitution or electoral act to now read that all matters must be concluded before swearing in. Otherwise, what we are having now will still go on.
Veteran journalist and public affairs commentator Sunday Arambi, thank you for coming to join us this morning on the show. We appreciate it. We're taking a quick break, everyone. When we come, we'll wrap it up with a few headlines from Nigerian dailies for you. Do stay with us.